These are the top 30 most wishlisted games on Steam. And if you're curious, I got this information straight from the Steam database website. Alright, starting at number 30, we have Mouse. Mouse is a game coming out in 2025 that mixes old school shooting games with cartoon looks from the 1930s. You play as a detective in a black and white world, fighting bad guys with guns and special powers. The game looks like an old cartoon similar to early Mickey Mouse, but you're running around shooting mobsters instead of just watching. Number 29, Falling Frontier, a space strategy game where you design and customize ships, manage resources, and engage in tactical battles in a vast star system. The game focuses on realistic ship designs and strategic planning with a variety of environments like planets and asteroid fields. Originally set to release earlier, it's now expected in 2025 to ensure a more polished experience. Number 28, Arc Raiders, a free-to-play third-person shooter game where you fight both other players and robotic enemies in a future Earth setting. The game is supposed to feature intense combat with various weapons and gadgets like jetpacks. The game is still in development with no set release date. Number 27, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, an action RPG set to release at the end of 2024. The game continues the story of Henry from the first game. You'll be able to explore two large areas set in the 15th century medieval Europe with improved graphics, more immersive gameplay, and new weapons like crossbows and early firearms. The game features a bigger world, fewer loading screens, and over 5 hours of cutscenes. It aims to be historically accurate with a mix of intense combat, stealth, and a rich storyline that picks up from the first game, but is also friendly to new players. Number 26, Norland, a game coming out on July 18th, 2024, where you run a medieval kingdom. It's like a mix of other popular games that let you manage cities and families. In Norland, you're in charge of a noble family and their city. You'll build things, make money, and deal with all sorts of problems like fights between different groups, religious issues, and sneaky politics. Number 25, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, a new version of the old game rumored to be coming out sometime in 2024. It's a spy game where you play a snake in 1964, sneaking around jungles and bases to stop a big weapon and save a scientist. The game keeps the old story and sneaking style, but makes everything look much better with new graphics. You'll still have to be quiet, hunt for food, and heal injuries like in the old game. The game is being made by Konami, the same company that made the original game. Number 24, Blue Protocol, a free-to-play game coming out sometime in 2024. It's an action game where you can play with friends or alone, fighting monsters and going on adventures on a planet called Regnus. You can make your own character and choose from 5 different types of fighters, like sword users or magic casters. The game is supposed to have cool battles, quests, and big group fights against tough enemies. Number 23, Karlson, an upcoming first-person shooter game made by indie developer Danny. It's a fast-paced game where you play as Karlson, a character on a mission to get milk using parkour and shooting skills to defeat enemies. The game is still in development and doesn't have a release date yet. Number 22, Little Nightmares 3, a spooky puzzle platform game coming out in 2025. This will be the third Little Nightmares game, and this time you can play alone with an AI buddy or team up with a friend online. The game will feature 2 new characters, Low and Alone, who explore creepy places like a desert, a fun fair, and a factory. Number 21, Kingmakers, an action strategy game coming to Steam in 2024. You play as a soldier from a future apocalypse who travels back to medieval England to change history. The game mixes third-person shooting with real-time strategy, letting you use modern weapons and vehicles against medieval armies. It features large battles with thousands of soldiers, destructible environments, and advanced AI. You can also team up with friends in co-op mode. Number 20, Rooted, a post-apocalyptic survival game set in the year 2100, where you navigate a world ravaged by bacteriological warfare. You can play solo or with friends, scavenging for resources, crafting items, and building shelters to survive. The game features an open world with various dangers, including other survivors and robotic enemies. The game is still in development and doesn't have a release date yet. Number 19, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, a new fighting game coming out on October 11th, 2024. The game lets you fight as over 160 characters from the Dragon Ball world in fast-paced 3D battles. You can smash up the arenas as you fight, play through story modes, and even make your own battles. There are online and offline ways to play with friends, and you can join tournaments as well. Number 18, Marvel Rivals, a free game coming sometime in 2024 where you can play as your favorite Marvel heroes and villains. It's a team-based shooter where 2 groups of 6 players fight each other. You'll get to use cool superpowers and destroy parts of the game world as you play. The story is about Doctor Doom causing trouble across different universes. Number 17, Path of Exile 2, an upcoming free-to-play action RPG coming out in late 2024. It's a sequel to the original Path of Exile, which is known for its deep character customization, intense combat, and complex item system. In these games, you play as an exile fighting through hordes of monsters, collecting loot, and developing your character's skills and abilities. Quick interruption, this is the website instantgaming.com where you can get tons of games for way cheaper. They have games available for PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo. You can also pre-order games on here as well, so if any of the games in today's video interest you, you can get them here for cheaper. The buying process on Instant Gaming is simple. After purchase, you'll get an activation code for the game you bought. If you want to check out Instant Gaming, there's a link in the top of the description and pinned comment. Big thanks to Instant Gaming for sponsoring this video. Alright, let's get back to it. Number 16, Slay the Spire 2. A new card game coming in 2025. It's a follow-up to the popular first game where you build decks of cards to fight monsters. The new game will look better, have new characters to play as, and introduce fresh ways to play. The game will have new enemies, treasures, and bosses to discover. Number 15, Tiny Glade, coming out sometime in late 2024. In this game, you can build castles however you like. It's really easy to play, you just place bricks, walls, and other bits wherever you want without having to stick to a grid. The game reacts to what you build, so if you draw a path through a wall, it turns into an archway. You can play in different settings like snowy forests or autumn woods, and there's a day and night cycle that changes how everything looks. People who have tried the demo really like how relaxing and creative of a game it is. Number 14, Sid Meier's Civilization 7, the next big game in the popular Civilization series, coming out in 2025. In this game, you'll build and grow your empire throughout history, just like in earlier Civilization games. You'll pick a famous leader, make cities, discover new lands, and deal with other civilizations, either by making friends or going to war. Number 13, Arena Breakout Infinite. A new tactical military shooter featuring realistic graphics and sounds. You'll engage in high-risk battles and be able to customize your gear with over 500 attachments. The game is set in a dangerous exclusion zone where you take on the role of armed operatives. The setting seems to be a conflict-ridden area where various factions compete for resources and survival. The game's release date is yet to be announced. Number 12, Light No Fire, an upcoming game from Hello Games, known for their game No Man's Sky. The game will feature a massive open world the size of Earth filled with different landscapes like oceans and mountains where you can explore, gather resources, build structures, and survive in the dynamic environment. The game supports multiplayer, allowing friends to team up and build communities. You can also engage in combat using weapons and magic, ride animals, and name the landmarks you find. While there's no set release date yet, it's expected to come out in late 2024 or early 2025. Number 11, Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodlines 2, coming out in late 2024. It's a sequel to a popular game from 2004 and takes place in modern-day Seattle. In the game, you play as a vampire and you can choose how they look and which vampire group they belong to. You'll explore the city, use vampire powers, and make choices that affect the story. The game mixes fighting, sneaking, and talking to other characters. You'll need to drink blood to keep your powers strong, but you have to be careful not to let humans know vampires exist. Number 10, Blight Survival, an upcoming game set in a dark medieval world where a mysterious sickness turns people into monsters. You and up to 3 friends play as brave fighters trying to survive in this dangerous land. The game mixes scary elements with tough combat, letting you use swords, bows, and armor to fight both human enemies and creepy creatures. You'll need to be sneaky, gather resources, and complete missions to stay alive. The game is still in development and has no set release date. Number 9, Dune Awakening, an open-world survival MMO where you start as a prisoner and must survive by managing resources. The game features crafting, base building, and both player versus environment and player versus player combat. You can explore a massive world, avoid deadly sandworms, and use various vehicles. Number 8, Unrecord, a first-person shooter game that looks incredibly realistic and is played from the viewpoint of a police officer's body cam. The game focuses on solving criminal cases with a mix of tactical combat and storytelling. It uses Unreal Engine 5 for its stunning graphics and has caught a lot of attention online. The game is still in development and currently doesn't have a release date. At number 7, we have Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2, set to release on September 9th, 2024. It's a sequel to a game from 2011 and puts you in the boots of Lieutenant Titus, a super soldier fighting alien monsters. You'll blast enemies with guns and slice them up in close combat, either alone or with friends in co-op mode. The game takes place in a dark sci-fi world with dangerous jungles and huge cities. You'll be able to also fight other players online in team battles. Number 6, Ark 2, a survival game coming out in late 2024. It's the sequel to Ark Survival Evolved and takes place on a new alien planet. You'll play in a third-person view fighting dinosaurs with primitive weapons and using new moves like climbing and swinging. The game will have a story featuring actor Vin Diesel, and you can play alone or with others. The combat is said to be challenging like Dark Souls games. Number 5, Monster Hunter Wilds. It's part of the Monster Hunter series where you play as a hunter who takes down big creatures. The game promises to be bigger and better than before, with changing environments and new animals you can ride. The game is also cross-platform, so you'll be able to play with friends no matter what system they're on. The game is planned for release sometime in 2025. Number 4, Stalker 2 Heart of Chornobyl, a first-person shooter and survival horror game set to release on September 5th, 2024. The game takes place in the dangerous Chernobyl exclusion zone, and you'll be able to explore a huge open world filled with mutants, radiation, and strange anomalies. Your choices in this game will shape the story and the world around you. And at number 3, we have Frostpunk 2 coming out on September 20th, 2024. It's a follow-up to the first Frostpunk game set 30 years later in a world that's still very cold. In this game, you're in charge of a bigger city, and your job is to help it grow and deal with different groups of people who want different things. Instead of just trying to survive like in the first game, you're now trying to make the city better for the future. You'll build whole neighborhoods at once, make big choices that affect everyone, and manage your city over months instead of days. Number 2 is Hollow Knight Silksong, the much anticipated sequel to Hollow Knight. In this one, you'll play as Hornet, a character from the first game. Set in a new kingdom, Hornet has to climb to the top after being captured. The game promises over 150 new enemies, new abilities, crafting, and a quest system. Although it was initially expected in early 2023, it has been delayed and there's no new release date yet. And at number 1, we have Black Myth Wukong, a game coming out on August 20th, 2024. It's based on an old Chinese story and lets you play as a monkey-like character with cool powers. The game is all about fighting tough enemies and big bosses, using magic and different skills to win. The makers wanted to make this game challenging, but not too hard, so there's only one difficulty level. Lots of people have been looking forward to this game because it looks different from other games out there, mixing Chinese legends with fun, action-packed gameplay. That's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.